Hey Fae folk, welcome and welcome back to another Disney doll ranking. Today we are finally getting to the princes. So I am done ranking all of the Disney limited edition dolls for all of the princess characters, like the official princess characters, and then also Frozen kind of tacked on there. And the entire time, anytime that I've had a photo that happened to have like a corresponding prince doll included in it, like if it was like a set, I've been like, we're ignoring the prince. We're not talking about him. But today we are only talking about the princes. It is finally their time to shine, or it's at least their time to be focused on. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I really truly have not been paying attention to the prince dolls that much while we've been doing the princess rankings. And preparing for this video, getting all the images and looking at all these dolls, even just like for a second, because I always try not to pay too much attention so that like I can have a real almost first impression on camera, right? Even just that, some of these are a little rough, so not to spoil anything, but maybe don't expect too much from this ranking. I have a feeling it's gonna be a rough one. So if that sounds fun, keep watching, I guess. As per usual with these videos, everything I say is just my opinion. You're obviously free to disagree with me. If I say that I think that a prince is ugly, you're allowed to feel differently. Just please do be chill about it. But we obviously have quite a few dolls to get through today because we're not doing just one character, but every single prince that like at least got a doll. So let's go ahead and jump on into the ranking. Hi! Are you gonna help me? That was so loud. Alrighty, so as with my other Disney rankings, we're using Procreate and the tiers are perfect, good, okay, I feel nothing, no thanks, and put it back. I do have these organized like by prince, not in any, I don't think they're in chronological order. I could be wrong. I don't really know for sure, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if they're in the order of like the movie releases, but I can tell you that like all of the Prince Naveen dolls are together and all of the like Prince Charming dolls are together. So we're going to be starting out by looking at the Prince from Snow White, who doesn't have a name. So that's already a great start, right? So the version that you're seeing here on the left is the like basic version, and then this was a set with Snow White that also had a D23 variant. So then the one on the right is the D23 variant. For the prince, I think this was the case for Snow White too. It was really just like a recolor, like it was the same outfit but like a different coloration. So same thing for him. And honestly, I don't feel that much about either of them, which in the case of today's video, that's a good thing. Like me not feeling much is honestly a good sign. Cause like, I mean, he doesn't like look necessarily exactly like he does in the movie, but I don't think that he looks offensive, especially again when you compare him to some of the other princes. It's just kind of rough. We're gonna get rough. Looking at the clothing, I do feel like whenever there's like a prince and princess two pack, almost always the princess is going to get more attention. Like that's just kind of how Disney does it. But I do feel like these look like they are decent quality for being like the, I don't want to say less important because that sounds mean, but like the less focused on character in a two pack. I feel like they look pretty solid. I mean, it looks like they have a faux leather for his shirt there, and then like the pants and the shoes. We've got like a whole cloak situation going on, which is super nice. I like that he got a sword. I think it's nice that he got an accessory because like, again, I feel like the princes are usually not the main focus. So I like the fact that they at least gave him a little something something. He does have molded on hair, which like I go back and forth on because I prefer my dolls to have like rooted hair, even the male dolls, even dolls with short hair, just because it feels nicer to me, like it's a better tactile experience. That being said, the way that some of the rooted hair princes have looked maybe has changed my mind on that. Like I can accept the molded on hair here. All of that to say, I think they're both going to go into okay. That feels fair to me. Cuz like I don't really have anything negative to say about them. I just don't feel much. So I could put them in I feel nothing, but I think they just barely made themselves like pop up into okay. Then we have the 2017 version of the Prince from Snow White, which like again, I'm literally double checking because I feel like this doesn't necessarily look exactly like the prince from Snow White. Am I misremembering? Yeah, no, I just Googled it. I'm not crazy. I was like, I don't feel like this is what he looked like in the animation. And I would stand by that. I still don't think that this is 100% animation accurate. That being said, especially with me knowing what's coming ahead, this is a good doll. Like, this is a good Prince doll. He does have the rooted hair, and I feel like in this instance, they were able to make it lay in a way that doesn't look completely heinous. Like, it actually looks pretty decent for short rooted hair, because sometimes it just really is like not looking good. As much as I want to love it and as much as I do love it when it's done right, it is not always done right. But I think this is a really, really good example of it. Again, we have the cloak, and I like the detail that we have here with like the chain. This is the wrong brush. I'm literally never prepared for the job that I set out for myself. But I like the chain that he has, kind of like linking that across. Again, we have a faux leather kind of vest situation, the sword and everything. I feel like this is on par with the others, except I do feel like this might be a different face sculpt that I like slightly more. And he has rooted hair. So he gets to go all the way into good, which, like, kudos to him. Amazing that a prince that doesn't even have a name gets a good doll. And then lastly, we have the 80th anniversary version of the prince from Snow White. And I think this is really solid. Again, we have the rooted hair. I don't think it's quite as good as the last one, but it's still good. It still doesn't look like shit. So I love that. And we're getting to see extra details on him. He's got some like buttons and some embroidery along here, especially on like the cuff of his shirt. That's really, really nice. He also has the nice, like, cool puffed detailed sleeves, which y'all know I'm a huge sucker for. Plus it's cute because like Snow White has those sleeves typically, so I like that they included that for him. He's still got the cloak. I love me a good cloak, cape, whatever like the situation might be. I just love that stuff. I don't know why. This is another really, really good one. I'm honestly debating putting this in perfect. You know what? I think I'm going to. Just, I think at some points I have to be generous in this video because we are honestly starting off pretty solid. Like, I know I warned you guys. We're starting off pretty solid. It's going to get worse, I promise. So next up is, we are done with like the prince from Snow White. Next we have Prince Charming from Cinderella, who, like, technically his name is Prince Charming. So like he sort of has a name, but also, is that really a name? I don't know. Anyway, this is from the fairy tale pack with Cinderella, and I cropped her out. If you remember this one from my Cinderella ranking, she looked absolutely incredible, and then he's there. He sure is there. Like, it's not terrible. It's just not great. We got the modeled on hair, which, okay, I can accept it for this video. We do have some details, like some embroidery going on here. I don't think the face is like horrifically inaccurate, but I do think it's very soulless. Like, he just exists. I think I'm going to put him in I Feel Nothing because I don't think there's any like glaring issues. I just don't feel a lot. Next up is Prince Charming from the wedding set, and this one makes me violently uncomfortable because, as I just said, he's from the wedding set. He's getting married. I like this outfit. I would even go so far as to say I love this outfit. I think it's quite pretty. But he looks like a child. Like, that's a full toddler. Just something about the face mold and like the screening that they've given him. He looks way too innocent for me, like, to feel comfortable with this. Like, I know it's not necessarily super inaccurate to the movie. Like, he doesn't have like this extreme chiseled face or anything like that. He doesn't have like a big scraggly beard. Something about the execution here, he looks like he's playing dress up. Like, he looks like a kid playing dress up. That being said, the outfit is so good. Like, there's so many details here, like the buttons and the embroidery and the layers. There's a lot to love here. I'm having a lot of trouble with the face sculpt. So much so that I think he's going to go down into okay. I understand if you feel differently. Just for me, I can't get over seeing that. And that was already it for Prince Charming. He doesn't have very many dolls. There are a couple princes in here that only have 1 or 2 dolls. Just, I don't really know why, but they do. So, on to Philip. So this is Philip from the Fairy Tale 2-pack with Aurora. What did they do? Like, why does he look like that? Why does he look scared? Like, I wouldn't say that Philip is like one of my favorite princes. I don't think he's bad. You know, like, I just feel like there's other princes from newer movies that have more personality. But I think that especially for like the sort of time frame that he came to like be in, I feel like he's a pretty solid prince. He's got a nice design in the animation. He has a name, which is super cool. But this face, that doesn't reflect any of that. He doesn't look accurate to the animation to me, which, again, like, that's going to be a common thread. But this isn't even like inaccurate in kind of a nice way like the prince from Snow White was. he looks frightened. He looks like he is completely devoid of personality and he's scared. And it's not like he comes with Maleficent or anything, so it makes sense. He's in a two-pack with Aurora, who he's supposed to be in love with, and he just looks scared. Outfit looks pretty solid. I feel like this is decent quality. Again, for like, the princes always have a little bit less quality, it feels like, than the princesses, or at least almost always. But the fact that he's got like stitching, I like that a lot. The pants are kind of whatever. The boots are kind of whatever. The face is just insane to me. I think I'm going to put him in okay. Next up is the Midnight Masquerade Philip, who I don't like this as much. Somehow the face feels both more and less accurate at the same time. I think maybe the sculpt of the jaw feels like it's a little bit more accurate, but the actual face, like the screening, doesn't. His eyes are so like teensy. I mean, they're almost like, it looks closer to a realistic human scale, but on a doll scale, that does tend to look slightly off. Like, even more realistic proportion dolls, like Barbie in the face, is usually a little bit more realistic, but I feel like she's still got, slightly bigger eyes than a normal person would if you scale them down that low. I don't know, like, he just looks a little uncanny, a little bit off. I also just don't love the outfit. While there is decent detail in here, granted, it could just be the photo that I'm working with, but it just doesn't look exciting. It's like, okay, yeah, there's detail, but I don't feel happy about it. He's just kind of there. I don't remember if he ever wore an outfit even close to this. I mean, it is Midnight Masquerade, which is not like a super movie accurate line. I just don't feel like it's working for him. I don't feel like it fits necessarily the personality that I think of for him. It's going to be really funny if I'm saying all that and then this is actually something he wore in the movie. Because he might have. Maybe it just doesn't translate well on a doll. I don't know. I don't like this. I'm putting him in no thanks. Then we have the 2014. Yes, 2014 Philip. And I want to like this so much because this is so cool in the outfit. And again, just the face. What is happening? It's different again because the eyes don't look like they're like too small, but they just look wrong. Like, it's so interesting because we also saw this with Aurora. Aurora, her dolls, I feel like very, very rarely had a face that looked even remotely like her. And it's interesting to me because I said this in her video. That movie, Sleeping Beauty, has such a distinct and beautiful animation style that I feel like it shouldn't be this difficult to pull from it. And yet somehow it is. Looking at his outfit, there's tons of detail, lots of embroidery. He's got a sword and a shield, which I love. I like to see him, going ready off to fight Maleficent. That's pretty chill. I like all of that. I like the outfit. Just the face is like, what is going on here? So he gets to go into okay. And then lastly, we have the wedding version for Philip, or lastly for Philip, not lastly for the video. We still have a lot to go, don't worry. And I do think this is the closest they get to getting his face right. I still am not obsessed with it, and I think the rooted hair is like iffy, but I think this is the closest that they get, and so I feel like I have to give very minor props for that. I do like the outfit too. I think this is really, really solid. The silver color is nice on him. The like velvet on the front panel of his cloak and then the satin on the inside I think is a really nice contrast because they're both red, but because of the different fabrics, it's like it looks a little bit different. I like that a lot. It's just a little extra texture. It's a vibe here. This is solid. I'm going to put him all the way up into good. And that brings us to Eric, who I will say I think is one of my favorite Disney princes. Prior to Tangled coming out, I would have said he was my favorite Disney prince. I just think he actually like has a lot of personality. Again, some of the earlier princes are kind of just like, I'm there, I'm the love interest, So I like enjoy his personality. I think he has a nice design. However, sometimes the dolls don't really reflect that. His dolls, I feel like frequently look kind of cheap. I mean, there's only two more to actually take a look at in the limited edition realm. But honestly, this outfit on this limited edition doll, which is, yeah, the fairy tale one, I don't even know if I bothered to say that. But this outfit particularly, like this is a limited edition doll. His playline versions, there have definitely been versions of like Playline Eric that are very nearly identical to this, like down to the molded hair and everything. And that's my biggest gripe. I will say I don't think the face is excellent. I just don't. I don't think it's great. The molded hair, again, like I can accept it, but I'm just looking at this and I'm like, limited edition, where? Is it the slight bit of embroidery that's underneath his collar so you can't even like really see it? Is it like the sash? Like there's just, this is flat out a playline doll. And I understand that he came with an Ariel, and so Ariel probably got like most of the budget. But this is just honestly offensive to me for a limited edition doll, because it doesn't even look like the other princes that we've taken a look at. Most of the time, they look lower budget than the princesses that would correspond with them, or even if they are like solo dolls, like a princess from the same movie. This doesn't look like they put in any effort to him whatsoever. And it makes me sad because, like, I like Eric. I want to like his dolls, but this is just, it's just not good. I think I have to put it in no thanks just because of the fact that he's a limited edition doll that I feel like I could buy a dupe for what, $20? Yeah, no. Next up is the 2013 limited edition Eric doll, and this is even worse than the face. He's got rooted hair and they seem to have done it well, but like, again, he looks so like too young. And I understand that like the Disney princes in general, while sometimes older than their princess counterparts, are not like typically super old. But he just, even comparing it to the last one, he looks so young, like too young. It just, I don't know. It doesn't look accurate to the movie. It doesn't look like Eric super to me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. The outfit is fine. Sword's okay. He's got detail in his outfit, which is nice to see. I think ultimately I'm going to put this in I Feel Nothing, because like, I'm just kind of like, why am I here? And then lastly, we have the wedding Eric, which thank God he finally got a face that like resembles him in the movie. Funnily enough, looking at this one, which this is like a stock photo, his eyes are not the same size. Like, that's too big for me to really illustrate. Hold on. I gotta get in there. Because I feel like if you have the eye, it can like make it look like maybe it's the same size. Like you might not notice it as much because there's different components. But like those are not the same size. Anyway, even with that, I feel like this face sculpt is better. I feel like there's a little bit of personality in like the shape of the eyebrows and the smile. He's got the rooted hair, which I think looks fine. And the detail in this is really, really, really nice. Like, are these called epaulettes? Am I crazy or am I correct? I think I'm right. The epaulettes look great. His jacket looks great. The sword is like tucked into his belt, which is awesome. And also his pants have detail to them, which like most of the Prince dolls, or at least like the ones we've covered thus far, have just really basic pants. Like any detail that they get is going to be on the top. So I really like the fact that his pants have like this extra line in the middle. They've got some buttons in the side. It's just like a little extra something something that, especially for a wedding pack, is nice to see that he's not just wearing like the most basic pants ever. You know what? I'm going to put him in perfect. I'm going to assume that this photo was just of a doll that was like misprinted and not every doll of that had eyes that were different sizes. And I'm going to put him in perfect because like that was pretty solid. And I have to have some dolls in perfect, okay? Moving on to the Beast. So hold on. What was his actual name? I don't remember. I like Adam, I finally got it. I finally got it. I'm very much of the opinion that he was better before he turned back into Prince Adam. He's way better as the Beast, so that's like how I think of him. So starting off with the Fairy Tale Beast. Also, he has a lot of different dolls, which I think is quite interesting. I'm pretty sure they all have like the plastic head, and I do understand why. Like, that's definitely the easiest way to achieve the Beast look, and like, while one that is either like fully rooted or done with faux fur would be really cool, and like I'm sure customizers have done really amazing things with that, and I just haven't seen it. I understand why Disney themselves are like, we're just gonna do the plastic head. So I'm not actually upset about that, because I do think for his character, like for the fact that he is a beast in this moment, it makes sense. And I do think the doll is pretty solid. There's like a lot of detail with the embroidery, and like the thickness of the jacket is super pretty. The fact that his vest underneath has like the real buttons on it, I don't know why that is so charming to me, but I actually think that's absolutely adorable. Kind of basic pants and no shoes because beast paws, but like this is a vibe. I think what bothers me is the fact that it's not just the plastic head, but his little like collar. I don't want to like that. That doesn't feel like the right word for it. I don't know what you call this. Whatever that is, though, like the collar piece, that's all I can call it, is also plastic. And so I feel like it just looks a little bit odd. I understand like it's probably a lot easier to make it blend like that, but it does bother me slightly. I think I'm going to put him in good. Next up is the 2016 version of the Beast. And this time we do not have a plastic collar. We've got like an actual fabric one, which I don't know. I will understand if y'all disagree with me and prefer the plastic one, but I think this is just better. I like this better. He's got such a cute face. This is adorable. I like this scene that it's ripping from. It's like the kind of wintry scene where he has like the bird seed. This is adorable to have him have all the birds and he's like happy that something's not afraid of him. That's so cute. Okay, that's so cute. His outfit is arguably a little bit less detailed than the last one. Really, it's like all in the cloak here because there's like some embroidery, there's different fabrics on the inside versus the outside. I just think this is precious. I think I have to put him in good too. Like I can't bump him up to perfect because the pants and the shirt are quite boring, but that one's adorable. Then we have a set that came with Belle, and this one is so good to me. He's got like the same sort of face where he's like smiling, he's happy, it's cute. The little bottom fangs are adorable. We have the fabric like rough here, but also so much detail. Like this piece here, the jewel on like the collar cuff situation. I really wish I knew what to call that. I'm so sorry. That's really pretty. I really like how that looks. The fabric they've chosen for his vest is lovely. The coat is incredible. The lace like at his wrist is really nice. All of this, there's even detail on his pants. Look, there's a little bit of striping along the edge. That's so good. The fluffy tail. This is all really solid. He's going straight into perfect. Me so far has the nicest things to say about an inhuman doll. The 30th anniversary one, I cannot abide by this. I'm so sorry. I want to like it. I just feel like he looks a little silly. Like with the other ones that have had the fabric rough, which now that I'm thinking about it is most of them. I guess the plastic one I'm more used to seeing on like Playline ones. Anyway, though, that other style, like the white one that he usually gets, matches the volume in his like cheeks and in his fur so much better. This looks just silly to me. Like the shape of his head looks absolutely ludicrous with this version that they've given him, which is sad because I like the lace. Like it's a really nice like detail and like a nice design to me, but it just looks silly with like how it connects. I feel like there's so much detail here, there's so much good, just the silhouette looks absolutely funky to me. Like I wish there was just more bulk in here to fill it out so that the cloak kind of went up further. I don't know. It's not quite a vibe. I'm going to put him at okay because it actually really bothers me. But like it is objectively good quality. And then lastly, for actually Prince Adam this time, not the Beast, the only one that he gets as a limited edition doll in his human form is the live action version, which I, honest to God, cannot even remember what that actor looked like. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't know. Like, I just picture the Beast. I don't picture this. So I don't know how accurate the face sculpt is. I apologize. We've got the rooted hair and it is styled very nicely. And the outfit is really good. Like, this is really good. There's so many fabrics and details and so much to love about this. The face is maybe a tad uncanny, even if it is accurate. I think I'm going to put him into good because the face is throwing me off and also I prefer the Beast. But like the outfit is so good, it bumps it up way higher. Okay, we're on to Aladdin and I know this is going to be rough. I have to prepare myself to click on this. I I also really like Aladdin as a character. I think he's interesting and compelling. However, the dolls. Oh, we're starting off with the fairy tale Aladdin. And he looks like that. So, yeah. I think that Aladdin is one of the princes who has, I mean, to be fair, he's like the focus of his movie, unlike a lot of the princes. So it kind of makes sense, but he has so much character and is also such a big personality. His face is so expressive. So for him to just look like that, It's just very jarring to me. I do understand the rooted hair, especially for him, honestly, because he has, I feel like, a very you think it's simple, but it's like very specific hairstyle. So it's not that bothers me. It's just like, why does he look like that? Like, why is he so expressionless? Out of all the characters that you would make expressionless, you're gonna make Aladdin just be like, yeah, I'm here. No, absolutely not. The other thing that kills me about is this just looks ill-fitted to me. Just in general, I feel like this in the movie, I feel like it was higher up, like more at his waist, whereas this is like almost at his hips. And it just looks too loose and too bulky and just kind of awkward. I like the attempted detail, and I do like this design for like an outfit. I think it's nice, but just the way that everything fits feels very strange. And then you move up to his turban, and like you can like see the edges under here, and like the way that it's placed on his head with the molded hair just feels a little bit strange. And also this that's supposed to be like a feather. I'm almost certain I'm remembering that correctly. Let me double check. I was right. That's supposed to be a feather. That does not look like a feather. Not even close. I have no idea why they would go with faux fur, because it looks ludicrous. So yeah, I don't like this. I think that's pretty clear. We're going to put it into no thanks. Then we have the 2015 Aladdin, who is in his like introduction outfit, like the outfit that he wears when you first see him in the movie, which I do think they've done a good job at like keeping simple, because like it's supposed to be simple, but also adding some details like the patches and the embroidery and everything on his vest and on his waistband, I think is cool. He's got pockets, it looks like here, which is nice to see. He comes with a boo, which is fine. Again, though, the face is just not right. Like, it is more expressive, which I guess is good, because he doesn't look so just empty. But it still feels wrong. Like, the shape of his eyes doesn't feel right to me. Okay, I shouldn't even say something, because it's honestly everything about this just looks off. And this is exactly why I'm like, okay, in the case of Aladdin, I hear you with the molded hair, because this looks silly. It just does. It just looks poofy. It doesn't look charming. I'm not vibing with this. How far down do I put him realistically? I'm sorry, but the embroidery on his vest cannot save him. He's going in no thanks. I'm surprised I haven't put anything in Burn It yet, TBH. I just said TBH out loud. Okay. Anyway, the wedding Aladdin, very, very similar outfit to the fairy tale Aladdin, although I do think it's executed slightly better. At the very least, it doesn't feel quite as ill-fitted. I will say it still doesn't feel exactly right, but it doesn't feel quite as ill-fitted. I don't love the fabric for his pants. I just feel like it's a little too stiff for like the actual silhouette of the pants, but I do like the top portion better. His cape is better. He's got the rooted hair again, which like it hides under the turban better, so like it doesn't look as awful to me. And this face finally doesn't look like absolute shit, which is great to see. But for some reason we've still gone with faux fur. Like either use like an actual feather if you want it to be fluffy, or I will accept a molded feather. Like in this case, I will accept the molded feather because it will look less ridiculous than faux fur on his head. That's not a vibe. I'm gonna put him into okay, because at least he's an improvement on the previous iteration of like this similar outfit, but he's still not that great. And then for the live action Aladdin, once again, we've got just the face that it just doesn't track to me. I don't feel like it could be the angle, maybe, but I don't feel like this looks like the actor who played the live action Aladdin. That being said, the hair looks good, even though it is rooted, and the clothing looks incredible. Like, this actually looks like so much detail, so many different, like, colors and patterns, and, like, there's metallic elements. This looks very nice. I cannot put him in perfect because the face, again, doesn't feel quite right, but he does get to go into good. I really was like, oh yeah, these are kind of shit, and I'm ranking this low-key good. Am I just crazy? I don't know what's happening. Okay, just a one-off here. We've got the John Smith from the Fairy Tale Pack with Pocahontas. I mean, he does kind of look like John Smith, but I'm not like a big John Smith person to begin with, so that's not helping. Yeah, I mean, he's got some detail. I don't feel anything, so he kind of inherently has to go into I feel nothing. Alrighty, on to Li Shang. We're starting off with a fairy tale version. So this one on the left here, yeah, on the left, I had to make sure I knew where I had put these, is the like regular Disney Store version. And then on the right, we have the D23 version, which like really the biggest difference, because both of these packs he came with Mulan. The big difference was with Mulan because on the left, the Disney Store version, she was in like her dress, and then on the other one, she's in more of her warrior like pink outfit. So he looks similar in both, but they are different. Like there are differences. It's just he's a lot less dramatic of a difference than Mulan does. I think this face sculpt for him is really good. Like maybe the best face sculpt that any of the princes get. This to me looks exactly like you just plucked him out of the movie and made him a 3D doll. Like this is so good. I don't know that I like the velvet for the cloak, even though I'm almost always a velvet person. I don't know about that. But he does look like he has a decent amount of detail even in the non-D23 version, because the D23 versions usually get more detail. Even without that, I think he still looks like he has some effort put into him, like he wasn't completely forgotten. He's super, super solid. I'm going to go ahead and actually put him into perfect solely for the fact of him having the best face sculpt. I shrunk him down way too much. But like, I have to give so much credit for that, just because so many of them have such bad face sculpts, including okay, I shouldn't say bad, but like the D23 version definitely feels a lot less accurate to me. It just doesn't read the same. It is like a lower quality photo, so maybe that's why, but I don't love that as much. I don't think it's terrible. I just don't love it. I do think the fabric for the cloak is better, and he definitely has a lot more detail in his outfit in this one. As I said, the D23 versions typically get more detail. So he's got like some more stitching on his outfit and everything. It's like ultimately the outfit on this one is better, but I think the face sculpt on the other one is better. So I'm going to put him into good. Okay, I'm pretty sure these are rough. Next up we have Naveen. He's got a couple. So the first is the fairy tale version with Tiana. And yeah, I don't know who that is, but that's not Naveen. I feel like his eyes are the wrong size and also the wrong shape. It's mainly the eyes that are bothering me. Like they just look so wrong. And again, like he does have an expression. He is smiling, but he is so expressive. He's another one of those princes that is just so full of expression. And so it just seems odd that he feels so lifeless in a doll. Like a lot of people who don't like dolls in general are like, oh, they're lifeless, they're soulless. Obviously, I don't feel that way because it'd be kind of weird for me to have a collection if I thought they all looked soulless. But I do feel that way about some of these Disney Prince dolls. Like, I just don't feel like he's exciting. I don't know. He doesn't feel good. The outfit's like totally fine. I don't think it's great. And it's not making up for the face. Like, I'm being relatively chill, but that face actually actively bothers me. He's going into no thanks. Then we have the Midnight Masquerade version of Naveen that I somehow like even less. I feel like the face is slightly more expressive, but it still doesn't look like Naveen somehow. Like, it still just looks off. And while I want to like the outfit, I don't know, something about it feels weird. Like his coattails look oddly bulky there. Same thing with his collar up here. It's just like, where is that coming from? There's a loose thread. So there's that. Which, like, I understand that's hugely nitpicky of me, but I'm just saying. I don't know. He's just unexciting. I'm going to put him in I Feel Nothing. I know I said I like him less, but I think I just feel less passionate. I don't know. I don't know how to justify this to you. Alrighty, we are almost done. We've got 4 dolls left to look at, starting off with Kristoff. So the first one is going to be the Fairy Tale Kristoff, who came in a 2-pack with Anna. And this is cute. This is objectively cute. His face sculpt is not bad. I don't like his expression, but at least it looks like Kristoff. So that's cool. The rooted hair, or not the rooted hair, sorry, the molded on hair I think is fine with like the crown and everything. It looks good. And honestly, the amount of detail in this is extremely impressive for a male doll. Like the fact that he's got layers on his cloak and like the real tie, the tie on his mittens. Like, there's a lot going on here that I would not typically expect to see on a prince doll versus a princess doll. So, like, mad kudos to that. I'm going to put him into good. And then we have the 2015 version of Kristoff, which I definitely do not like as much. Again, we've got a good amount of detail. Like, his outfit has layers to it. It has detail. His bag looks really nice. I don't like the face, though. And I don't like the hair. The rooted hair in this case is not vibing for me. He's got, like, cool boots, though. The actual, like, leather boots. That's nice. Well, faux leather, but you know what I mean. He gets to go into okay. And then lastly, we have Flynn Rider Eugene, who is my favorite Disney prince, which, like, I feel like that tracks. I love Tangled in general. Rapunzel is by far my favorite Disney princess. And I love Flynn Rider. I What did they do to my boy? Why does he look like that? I'm so upset. So this is from a Fairy Tale 2-pack with Rapunzel. He looks terrible. Like, I think he's kind of recognizable because he's got, like, the goatee, and I think the shape isn't horrible for the sculpt of his face. But he just looks so uncanny and horrifying and not at all like Flynn Rider in, like, the way that I want him to. Like, this is not a vibe. The outfit's okay, but I truly cannot focus on it. Like, the shirt, the vest especially, I feel like looks quality. Nothing can redeem this face. I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's because I do like him as a character and as a prince, so I'm feeling more strongly about it, or if it's just because this is so egregious that I'm justified. But he's going and put it back because it doesn't matter how much detail you put into his outfit if he looks terrifying in the face. And then lastly, we have another fairy tale one that came with Rapunzel. This was like the subline, the folktale line. This is better. It's still not excellent to me. I just don't understand why he looks like that. Again, I am harping on this so much. But we have Aladdin, extremely expressive. Naveen, extremely expressive. What was that? I think I just, like, knocked something over somehow. Oopsies. Flynn Rider is the most expressive Disney prince ever. And granted, a lot of that is an act. Like, he's, like, hamming it up. But still, that's part of his character, especially in this scene that is being depicted. This is so early on in the movie. This is before you know his real name, before he, like, opens up at all. Like, he is in pure Flynn Rider mode, like, pure con artist mode. So the fact that he looks like this and he's just kind of, like, he looks like an idiot. I hate it. It's so upsetting. The outfit is nicely detailed. They gave him an open vest, which is interesting. I don't remember in that scene if his vest is open or not. But, like, this whole set I think is really cool because this is a really cool scene to depict. Rapunzel looks gorgeous. But why does he look like that? Like, if you were going to give him a goofy face for this scene, you should have given him the full-on smolder. But they didn't. It just looks like that. Yeah, he's going in no thanks. I'm so sorry. And yeah, that is the final ranking. I am confused. I don't know how I got here because I went into this being like, wow, these dolls suck. Like, this was not a joy to prepare for. I'm not vibing. And this is a solid ranking. I'm genuinely confused. Maybe it was the, like, just preparing for the video, I was seeing more like the initial flash because, like I said, I'm not, like, inspecting it, right? So maybe it was more obvious how bad the faces were because most of these have only okay faces at best. Most of them are honestly kind of bad if we're being real. So maybe it was just that I was focused on that and I didn't notice the details in the clothing as much, and then, like, actually taking a look at it, the clothing could kind of bump them up. Because this is not what I expected. I'm genuinely so confused. I hyped y'all up for a shitty ranking and yet here I am, but, like, I don't know, I said what I said and I can't take it back now. But yes, guys, that is going to be it for my Disney Prince ranking. Unexpectedly positive, but I guess that's not really something to complain about. Like, I guess it's better to be more positive than you thought it was going to be. So I'm confused, but I will take it. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of the dolls we discussed today. What's your favorite Disney prince versus who do you think has the best dolls? Do you also think that 90% of these face sculpts are just really terrible? I would just love to hear all of your opinions because I'm done sharing mine, at least for now. But yeah, I hope you were able to enjoy the video, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be. I hope you're having a happy holiday season so far, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.